Greetings, Earth. Welcome to the Nostalgiaverse.
Hello and welcome. Today with me is Alex.
Hello.
And today we have a special guest, screen actor Dean Aylesworth.
Present.
Yay!
Present and accounted for.
Yes.
You've had quite a varied number of roles that you've done. How did you get started acting in the first place?
How did I get started acting? Oh, I was so little. That was some of the first memories I've ever had are impersonating the shows on television, Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, I would walk around like a little monkey, and I'm serious. I'm like 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And now, of course, these are not of my own recall. These are of stories that have been told to me. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think by the time I was maybe 6 or 7, yeah, I don't know. I just knew that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, I remember Planet of the Apes. I grew up watching the movies and the series that was on. I think it started in 74 or 75.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
So
it's just the natural play stuff of kids, right?
Oh, I know.
And that's kind of where it started and when I knew. It sucks that I've always known, you know, at least for other people, they always said, wow, man, you know what you want to do with your life? And I'm like, yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that just means that you've got one up on a lot of people, that you actually know what you're doing, what you want to do. So
I certainly hope so. I'm certainly willing to learn more too. As we go, I think that's the evolution of each and every one of us as actors, is that we're sort of depicting the human condition.
Right.
And in the human condition, we get strange and wonderful messes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they happen every moment of every time that you got to do something that's really cool and you flatulate or something. I mean, and what do they call it? They call it Murphy's Law.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it can't happen, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that can go wrong will. At some point.
That's it.
Yeah.
The whatever, you know what I mean? And so this is the mess that we have. And that's kind of what I'm dedicated to doing and to learning and to being bad at or good at or indifferent. But at least I'm passionate about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're putting it out there. And for me, one of the things that I enjoy is seeing with actors the breadth and scope of what they're capable of. It bothers me when any actor gets typecast and they can only get certain roles, certain types of roles. I like to see them branch out. I like to see them challenged in what they can do.
No, I completely agree with you. It's difficult because there are certain standards.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a television show just the other day, and they were talking about a casting call having gone out for a Broadway play.
Mm-hmm.
And the casting call was very specific about who they wanted and needed, right?
Right.
And it became more about ethnicity as opposed to the part or the role, right?
Right.
At least it was more about that on this television show. For me, in that case scenario, I see that we're all the right part for we're all the right person for the right part.
Right.
I'm sure I get jealous or whatever when I see one of my friends or someone, you know, going and getting a really big role that bursts into a 3-picture deal and their career is started and really going gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't deny them that they deserve it.
Right.
And then I want them to do well.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's their part. It's like the old joke of how many actors does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah.
50. You get one to do it, and then 49 to stand around and say, I could have done that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And everybody has a particular skill set that they bring to the table. And their ability to bring across certain things, some people are better at it than others.
Yeah, but there's also, we're dealing with a certain medium. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And a medium that it's got a history, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's brought stars and names to the forefront of really even, you know, times in history when one can say, oh, well, Marilyn Monroe. You think Marilyn Monroe, you think, okay, well, this is Kennedy and all that, and yeah, and so it was sort of well, I know at that time, that's around the 60s, right? Wasn't
Mhm.
it? Late 50s.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that sort of stuff kind of kicks in, and you go, oh my goodness, right? Like,
Right.
when was when was Risky Business? You know what I mean? Like, most people know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This is like, it's back when Reagan was in power in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is one of Tom Cruise's very first films. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And
Yes.
get at any time period in film history. I know I grew up watching silent films. Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah,
Love
that's what I love
those. I,
specifically.
I love those.
I love Trump
And
because of a whole bunch of different things, but because his aspirations are exactly what my aspirations are, and I think he achieved his aspirations to be a filmmaker. Do you know what I mean? To be a
yeah.
storyteller, do it with heart and compassion and love. And he
Mhm.
did it all, and that's what I aspire to be, is a filmmaker, not just an actor, or just a writer, or just a man who holds up a sign for traffic so that my other acting cohorts can do their job. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Right.
willing to do all of that, and
Yeah.
that's what filmmakers are, and he did that. Him and Buster Keaton, oh my god! So
Mhm.
yeah, I really agree with you on the silent film eras,
Mhm.
because this is 99% of all communication,
Yeah.
is what we don't say.
Yeah. And we did discussion about music in geek culture and how it applies to things like film and television. And back then, they were called silent films, even though they actually weren't silent because nobody was speaking. All
Yeah,
you heard was music.
and
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 that was the first audio, and music has been a huge part of our culture forever.
yeah, well, it was the first origination of slapstick as well. They actually
Hmm.
took sticks in the theaters, and whenever one of the characters would hit another character on the screen, they would slap these sticks together to make these sound effects, and that's why they called it slapstick.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's cool.
this is the greatest form of exactly that, filmmaking, storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting and wonderful, and when you get a chance to do it, it's lovely. Sometimes I find, though, it's a lot of the times, working on independent things, working with people that are maybe a little greener.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the equipment they're using than it
Yeah.
is about the actual story that they're telling, which is, I don't know, it's sort of one of those, maybe it's a heads up or something like that
Mm-hmm.
one might encounter on their way up.
Yeah.
It's just about focus. You know what I mean? I get excited with new cars and motorcycles and all those things, absolutely. But
Oh yeah.
when it's about telling the story, or when it's about really relating something for a character, it can't be about the camera.
Right.
You know what I
The
mean?
camera
It
is
can't
the
be about that for me.
Yeah, the camera is a
It
tool,
can't.
as just as with special effects or with
Yeah,
any props or costumes, all of that. Those are tools
you
that
said
are used because of the story.
that's lovely. I agree wholeheartedly. Because just that, we got these beautiful, I think, great films like the new Star Wars films,
Mhm.
and there's another sequel coming up with the I think it's called the, what is it, Galaxy something?
Galaxy Quest.
No, not Galaxy Quest. A buddy of mine was in that.
Oh,
He turned out he was in Deadpool as well.
oh wow.
Yeah, Jeb Reese, very nice guy.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
he's in both Deadpool and he was one of the aliens in Galaxy Quest. But no, this is Defenders of the Galaxy. Is that what it's called, with Chris Pine? No,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians. Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, yeah.
yeah. And who's the actor who's in that? The lead actor? There's.
Um.
Chris Pine, Batista.
Are you sure it's Chris Pine? Because I thought Chris Pine was in Star Trek.
No, it's not Chris Pine.
Not Chris Pine. It's Chris. I forgot his name.
We're good at that game, hey? The celebrity name game. You've ever watched that? We lost. I'm sorry. Those stories, and how they're about the damn story, but they have these wonderful special effects, these wonderful things, but all of those things, just like you said, are being utilized as tools.
It's Chris Pratt, by the way.
Pratt. Well done. Did you look that up on your phone or something? It's a device as we were talking here. No.
No, it's I.
See,
Peter Quill is it played by Chris Pratt,
Right.
and Vin Diesel was the voice of Groot. Everybody knows this. And he's done a bunch of stuff, and Bradley Cooper, Zoe Saldana.
I think the histories that they've brought with them. Batista is a breakout star as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
He's done well, but he did the Iron Fist thing with that Tarantino produced,
Yeah.
and so I mean that was the first thing that I had ever seen him in, and then I think he did a pretty good job in this last outing, and seems to be like he's an actor, like can do it. He's not just fooling around, so it's kind of good. Yeah.
On your IMDb, the first thing listed for you is a show. I did a little poking around for it. It was done in Canada. I think it was Central Canada somewhere. Neon Rider.
Yes, ma'am.
You did an episode of that.
I did do an episode of that. Yeah, that was many years ago. I was really I was on that.
Yeah, that was back in '94.
Yeah. I think it was entitled Cowboys and Indians.
Yes.
And Danny Virtue directed it.
Oh.
Yeah, and Danny Virtue was one of the executive producers of the company that produced Neon Rider, as well as another show. I believe, what was it called? It was about cutting people's heads off, and there can only be one.
Oh, Highlander.
Highlander, yes. They produced that as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Winston Record Studios. Yeah. And I had met those guys when they first came to Vancouver. I was delivering sandwiches to them.
Oh, wow.
I know, it was so kismet. Yeah. And I had a great time working with them, and it was. I played a native role, but a native role where the other characters in the show didn't recognize me as native. They just thought that I was just another white guy, and they sort of started driving around town, making trouble for all of the world. And it turned out that they were racist in their anger and angst, and that they wanted me to join their little skinhead kind of club. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm actually one of the minorities that you're about fighting. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it was kind of, it was interesting. It was an interesting little show. I liked it. Yeah, I think I did a 2-episode arc on it. Yeah.
Very cool. The next one listed is The Sentinel, which was a show I loved.
Yeah.
In the late 90s. I loved that show. I missed that show. It was such a cool show.
I was a big time cigarette smoker at the time, and so the lead actor in the film, the television series, did not enjoy my company if I was smoking.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was a very, very health conscious person. So, but I finally figured it all out. We were out on this boat out in the channel here. It was very fun. All day long, driving around in this big boat. I think I got 5 or 6 days on it. Yeah, it was super fun. I was just playing a bad guy. It turns out that the cohort that we were sort of, there were 2 different factions of bad guys in the episode that I was in, and I was sort of associated with this other bad guy. It turned out he's the professor on Flash, and the bad guy. He was the bad guy on that show as well, on that episode of Sentinel.
Very cool. Yeah, Richard Burgi and Garrett McGart.
Yes.
That's pronounced.
Yeah, those are the leads in that show. But then who was the guest star on that episode? I can't recall. But I wanted to do the television series Ed and a couple other things. He was a really nice guy. I enjoyed working with him a lot. Super nice guy. I've forgotten his name for some reason off the top of my head, but once again, we're not playing the celebrity name game.
Right.
I'm not going to win.
It's Tom Cavanaugh.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Tom. Mr. Kavanaugh. Yeah, that's so funny. He always called me Chief.
And then you went on to do, from The Sentinel, you went on to do 3 episodes on The X-Files.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Fox Mulder's father. I watched those.
You did?
I actually went through and I found the because I couldn't really get into X Files myself. It was slightly outside my normal thing that I get into. But I went and poked at those 3 episodes, and I really like that arc that those episodes cover, dealing with Bill Mulder, his
Oh,
Fox
I'm
Mulder's
so
father, and
happy.
how the whole X Files thing started. I
Oh,
like that arc.
I like it too. And so much so that I've actually developed a script, and I've got a guy I'm working on it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, he's called it Lake Placid.
Oh,
No, not Lake Placid. Something Lake something else. I can't remember what he's got the title. Yeah, I'm sure he's got a copy written and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
yeah, he's put it together. Jason Kelly is his name.
yeah.
A wonderful writer. And I agree with you. The fans have been crazy about that line of thought, right? That the original,
arc.
yeah, that the original storyline, and where his sister gets abducted, and supposedly these are all the reasons for Fox Mulder to have even gone into the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it covers a lot, and how the X Files actually got their name, and how his father was involved, and I really enjoyed that arc. Actually, it was really cool.
yeah, I was very grateful to be a part of it. Worked with some really good directors who've gone on to do some things.
Mm-hmm.
James Wong was the first director.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and of course, effectively, if after Kim Manners has passed, but he was the director, so I had a chance to work with as well.
Very cool.
He was honored in one of the reoccurring episodes, the new ones,
Mm-hmm.
when they were in this graveyard, and they were running this scene, and they were walking by these gravestones and standing in front of them, and the one they were standing in front of was Kim Manners.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, if you know the inside stuff, it's a little more touching, and
Kind of tugs on you a little bit.
you're giving an homage to these men and women who put a lot of life and energy and time into these stories, and yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And then you did a couple of episodes of Da Vinci's Inquest.
Yes, yeah. I had the pleasure of working with Mr. Chris Haddock, who's the executive producer and creator of that. Did also another thing called City Hall. It was Da Vinci's Inquest City Hall, and then he went on to do Intelligence, and now he's got a new television series of which I don't remember the name of. Yeah, all Canadian.
Wow.
But Chris Haddock was also part of Boardwalk Empire with
Boardwalk
Martin Scorsese.
Very cool.
Yeah, Chris has been around. So yeah, I loved that that show, and I loved working with all those people. It's like some of the some of the greats, Donnelly Rhodes, who originally started out in a television series called Soap with Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like way back, and yeah, so so much I don't know, passion and love for this endeavor to soak up and to work with Ian Tracy and all those guys, everybody there, Peter Williams, everybody that I had a chance to work with is just a real blessing and pleasure on that show. And it's funny because not every damn thing that you do is pleasure. You know what I mean? But I know I sound like the brightest. It's like, oh, everything is so nice and everything is so great, but truly, I enjoy it. The heck out of what I do, right? And
Well, yeah. If you love what you do and you have fun doing it, you never work a day in your life.
Well, that's what the Chinese say. Yep. And I won't. It's not work; it's love. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful that I get paid well, and that so I can sustain myself till the next gig. And that's really why we get paid such exorbitant amounts of money, because we don't work very often. Damn it. Yeah. And
some more than others, but yeah, you guys have quite a space between projects.
Yeah, but it's also about putting a whole bunch of irons in the fire and making your own brands, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm enjoying, like live theater productions and creating all of these things with a whole bunch of groups of people. I've got a couple scripts in development that I'm working on for television, and right now I think there's something out on Facebook. It's a picture of me in a in some flak jacket, and that's for a sizzler for a new television series that my buddy's trying to promote and get out there, called a place in the another place is what it's called, another place.
Okay.
But yeah, if you search my images on Facebook in the last couple little bit, yeah, it'll be up there. Going nuts with auditioning right now. It's pilot season, and
Oh
there's
yeah.
lots of things available. My manager in Los Angeles is very, very happy to to be representing me, and I'm very happy to have her. And my representation up here in Vancouver is very, very diligent and supportive, making sure that I'm auditioning almost every stinking day, which is really wonderful. Hopefully, I'll land some great gigs, and we'll see in the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. And
Yeah.
and I look forward to seeing you on screen again, because you're one of those that it's really fun to watch you work, because you really get into it, and you really
Thanks.
and it's obvious that you're really into this, and you dig in with all fours, and
Yeah, I did.
it's a lot of fun watching you.
Oh, good. I'm so grateful. I'm just trying to concentrate on making that camera disappear.
Yes.
That's really my thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best I can do. And that means just dive as deep as you can into this damn character and feel those feelings, and be that moment, and make it fresh every damn time that you got to do it. It's quite lovely and wonderful, and such an experience that you can find new magic in, and you know what, mistakes are actually things that are valuable. I just love it.
Yeah. And sometimes a line doesn't come out quite right, and you end up, it doesn't feel right the way you say it, so you say it a different way, and they're like, "Oh, that's even better." Or
Absolutely.
and it's a lot of it is
That's
so
the courage
collaborative.
It's necessary to be courageous in that, and to take those steps, to step outside of the actual. And I'm not saying to do this on stage. Please don't. Anyone who hears this, who is on the stage, do not do this. But to maybe change up the iambic pentameter just a little bit. And it's not to do any injustice to the piece. It's actually to imbibe it, to own it. It's like making a song your own. Like all of these creative people that I love this television series, The Voice. Just because I see all of these great and wonderful young talents and old talents and medium aged talents that are just giving her. They're just really putting it all out there, and that's kind of it, right? And when they make the songs their own, when they don't have to like totally change the whole harmony or tune or anything, but just a little bit, when they make the song their own, then they have a signature, something that is their own voice.
Yeah, I remember watching. I saw a clip on YouTube of this girl. I think she was about 13. I can't remember how old she was, but you remember in Fifth Element, the diva, the
yes
blue, that song that she did that supposedly no human voice could ever do. She did it live on stage, and I'm like, holy crap! That was, oh my god. And yeah, it proves that yes, if you put yourself into that and try, you never know what you can accomplish.
That's all you got to do is try. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's such a cliche. It's so many. I mean, there's so many movies that are made about just that hustle and flow, right? The whole movie's about him trying to go and talk to this guy and give him his tape because he's a big rapper, right? Well, the big rapper says, "Hey man, you know everyone's got to have a dream, right?" And then he throws the guy's tape away, and the guy beats the hell out of him and goes to jail for it. Well, when he's in jail, he writes a whole music and gets really mad, and everything gets released, and all the guards are all his pals now because they recognize him as a talent, and they want from him now. They want to give him a tape, and so the one thing he said was, "Everyone's got to have a dream." And it's it's cliche and it's all the rest of the stuff. But boy, the dreams are great to have. It's the practice of executing it that's not so common.
Yeah.
And this is why we have only a handful of stars and only a handful of people that are working all the time. because it's not common to drive and strive and take the challenges, and because sometimes it doesn't come with a lot of great stuff. Like, I miss my little girl.
Well, what you do, she can definitely be proud of as she gets older.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, she'll be fine. It's just that the sacrifices that we have to make based on what we want. That focus, and that, just like I said when I was little, I knew what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it does. It takes sacrifice and challenges to overcome. Will be put in your path, and they're really just a measure of what you can overcome. Once again, I'm spouting out a whole bunch of cliches, but it's true.
Yeah, it is. It is. Recently watched Zootopia, and the key song in that film is "Try Everything."
Yep. Rubber
There's
Tree
so
Man.
many different movies and TV shows that actually put that out there, and it's like, yeah, if you want to do it, try it, go for it, and you've done that, and you're still doing that.
Thank you. Yes, and I'm going to continue to excel. I'm only going to get better at this.
Oh yeah.
This is what I encourage everyone. Just do that. If I can inspire in any way, shape, or form, for you to just try it, because when we try something, we're human beings, right? Human beings are pretty amazing, and when we try new things, we can even excel at them, and that's kind of fun. And it doesn't matter sometimes how old you are, or how tall you are, or what color skin you have. It's just doing that, having the human experience.
Yeah. And in a lot of the stuff that you've done, there's following Da Vinci's Inquest, there's The Immortal, Cold Squad, even Dark Angel.
Yes.
Stargate SG-1 is Old Anubis. I have that on DVD, actually.
Yeah.
I love that series.
Oh, thanks. You know how they did the background sort of things, and they had the interviews in the back. Well, they had me in that too. When they were putting the prosthetics on my face. Yeah, which is, I guess, the behind the scenes. Yeah.
I love the behind the scenes stuff because you get to see how the magic is done. And for me, I know it's not this way for everybody, but for me, seeing how they do it makes it that much more magical to me, because it takes all of this to make what you see on screen happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And you begin to really appreciate all the work that goes into this. Ever since I was little, I would go to a movie at the theater, and I would stay all the way through and watch the credits all the way to the end until the lights come up and the screen goes dark. Because for me, that's my way of paying respects to and honoring the literal village that it takes to make some of these movies. And it got to the point where I was recognizing various companies and individual names on the screen.
Aw, you're so sweet. That's pretty darn amazing. Yeah. Thank you for doing that, because
no problem.
It matters. Those names actually are human beings. You did something for that thing, and that's pretty good.
And there's a lot of people, as you go through and you see these names, you're like, oh, I remember this person did this, and this, and this group. Oh yeah, I remember some of those people. They were on this, and they did this, and so that kind of gets clicked in my head. It's like, oh hey, and I used to watch a show called Movie Magic in the 80s, where they would actually go into a lot of that, the behind the scenes, how they did back then. It was blue screen. Before that, it was black screen, and then blue screen, now green screen.
I did a screen scene in the X-Files there. Yeah, when they had me doing there was these during the MacArthur era, they were inquiring on people as to whether or not they were communist or not. And during those question periods, there was film of that, and old footage. And so what they did is they put me in, much like the Forrest Gump of its time.
Yeah.
Sort of, they put me into that, interacting with all of the other human beings that were in there at the time. It was a very quick shot, but it was cool. The very first time I ever dealt with green screen. Yeah, but they were filming. They were sort of transitioning, but they were filming on 35.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they finally. I mean, that they did. I think in the end they transitioned
Yeah.
to HD. But yeah, that was the I don't know, one of the most interesting things for me because 35 has a different tone to it and a different.
Yeah.
It's like music, right? You think of
Yeah.
rhythm and you think of tone and you think of like how you can tell a story and even how you can hum out the words. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest players who does that is once again the celebrity name game. I can't remember Christopher Walken.
Yes.
He's one of the greatest, I think, orators. Where his passion and his and how he hits certain places and it's just I know people make fun of it, but it's him. You know what I mean? It's his unique way of doing it. It's like a cadence. It's like a tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when I make reference to music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's said to be a great dancer. So in all of that, that's all of those marriages are.
And speaking of Christopher Walken, the first thing that comes to my mind is Brainstorm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that movie from way back. It's
He
like
was so innocent, and he looked so blonde back
I,
then, didn't he? He was very blondie. Yeah.
yeah, it was such a really different movie
Yep.
in all the best ways.
Yeah, sci-fi, and like you were saying about the whole getting everybody in there.
Hmm.
We call it, running away to the circus, really, because that's what we're all doing, right? It's a
Hmm.
three-ring circus, and everybody's in there. You got the people who are shoveling the, for the elephants,
Hmm.
and you got you got the clowns, and you got the horseback riders, and you got the trapeze artists. And each and every one of these things is the endeavor to entertain,
Hmm.
but also to do it at risk,
Yeah.
right? With risk and with everybody knowing the risk and everybody being on board for the risk, you
Hmm.
know. But they put up the big cages when the lions come out, not absolutely ridiculously stupid.
Right.
So, but we run away to join the circus, and every one of those people that are involved in it, the guy who cleans up that elephant poop is he's just as important as that. What do they call the guy who's in the top
The
hat?
ringmaster.
That guy.
Yes. And just as the guys who set up and tear down the tents, or the guys that feed the lions and the bears and the horses, and
And Dumbo.
yes.
Yeah. That was the whole visualization that I was getting from our conversation here. I was thinking about Dumbo. You know? Yeah.
But Dumbo's so cute.
And that was my very first outing here in Vancouver.
Hmm.
I had done a few plays and things like that in Calgary, but then I moved to Vancouver with like nothing in my pockets, and I got a great, great, great agent, and she sent me out on this one little gig, and it was to stand as a statue
Hmm.
that eventually comes alive at a Walt Disney convention pitch. It was something that was being done here, and it was specifically for Walt Disney, and it was Walt Disney characters and all of that. And yeah, I was dressed up as a Mexican, and it was I was just it was so fun and neat, but like no cameras, no nothing. It was like so way, way, way back then. But that was my first endeavor with Walt Disney.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's so funny because when you look at footage of
Hmm.
Walt Disney only once ever could you see him visually speaking as Mickey Mouse.
Hmm.
He had done that. He was being introduced to someone is in black and white. He said something to the effect in Mickey Mouse's voice. That's right, Mr. Aylesworth. But I wasn't going to do the Mickey Mouse
Right.
voice. Yeah, because
That's
I couldn't.
cool.
If I tried it wouldn't come over very good.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that was pretty cool. Like I've got family way way back history of family members Aylesworths that
uh-huh.
are producers
Oh.
for the Sonny and Cher show.
Oh wow. wow, my mom
Yeah.
used to watch.
Yeah, and I think we had these two other guys up here in Canada called I can't remember what their names were. You know what? All the information's on the internet, and
Yeah.
if I say it wrong, I might come off as I'm insulting my forefathers. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did some great work, and yeah, Laughing I think was one of the things that they were part of as well. Rowan and Martin way back in the '60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the Aylesworth sort of lineage with coming from the Walt Disney producer, where Walt Disney had actually said Mr. Aylesworth as Mickey Mouse, and then coming all the way up to through the '60s and so on, and and then there's another Mika Aylesworth. I think she's on some television show right now. Yeah, and anyone whose name is the same as mine, we're somehow supposedly related.
Mm-hmm.
If we're spelled the same way.
Yeah. That's the usual theory. It's like, wait, are you two related? Possibly.
Which is so cool because that's part of my father's side of my family that I've not really been. I'm not really too aware of. I've only been aware of my mother's side, which is Native, where First Nations Cree, and that is so diverse and so full of love and such great medicine. I like to call it. I've delved into that and been identify as that in many ways.
Yeah.
And certainly within the community and all those places.
Yeah.
I'd say up here in Canada, it's one of the biggest and most growing population, and that's our Native communities.
Yeah. For me, I'm Irish, Scottish, and Cheyenne
by
blood. So
good
yeah,
mix.
I grew up with it. I was going to powwows since I was 6, dancing fancy shawl by the time I was 9.
Oh ho!
I still have my original choker from when I was about 6 or 7. It's blue and white.
All my relations.
Oh yeah. I was going to Black Powder Rendezvous since I was about 2. I was 7. A friend of ours made a dress for me for the rendezvous, and I still have it.
Outstanding.
I even have my father had carved a wooden knife for me, and then a friend of ours made the scabbard for it for me. I was about 6 or 7 at the time, and I still have that too.
Very nice. Good for you. The stories that we're telling or that are being part of. Sometimes I'm part of a story that I'm playing an absolutely horrid character in, like in Blood Brothers. I was this brother of this other guy who broke out of jail, and I helped him get out of jail, and I killed people and I raped people, and it was awful. And I was like, what the heck am I doing? What kind of story? And I was like, look, man, you're telling the story.
Right.
If you look at any amazing book, hell, the Bible, right? All of the people that are in the pros and cons, the yin and the yang, there's a good guy and there's a bad guy. They tell the story. They function the story. In fact, they're the backbone of almost every moral. So within that, as a function to guide that moral to its fruition, I'm happy to play those bad guy roles.
Because they're needed in order to get to actually tell the story and to bring across the point of what they're trying to say with that story.
Yeah.
You can't have a good guy without a bad guy, because a good guy is just a guy.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm happily I play heroes and will continue to, and want more hero roles. Hello, hero roles I can take. I'm still gonna do bad guys. They're the juiciest and the funnest. I like those guys.
Yeah. Speaking of Blood Brothers, Reign of Terror, there's also a Double Cross, Ties That Bind, Blood, A Butcher's Tale, that you've done, Seed Money.
Yeah.
And an episode of Supernatural.
Yes, ma'am. Just recently, yeah.
Yeah. Which I did see that episode.
Oh, yes?
That was really cool, yes.
The Hangman?
That was, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, oh, they killed him off. Darn it.
But you can also see on the web, I don't know if it's on the resume there, Mr. Somebody.
Which is how you and I first connected.
That's right. Yeah.
Love it. love Mr. Somebody.
Oh, dude.
We want war.
I love
We
it.
want
Yes.
war.
This is like
Yes,
I've
more.
heard of you. Who the hell are you?
Yes.
We haven't heard you talk almost the whole darn time. You like that show?
Alex.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And plus, it's just I just sit in here and listen to everything. It's like, I'm not going to interfere.
Oh no, man! Yeah, no, I love that you just spoke up. Thank you very much. I didn't forget you that you were there.
We got into a deeper connection thing. So it's like I'm not going to ruin the moment.
No, so what? Yeah, what did you think of this Mr. Somebody out? Yeah, because this is you. I got Katt's opinion, but yours I'd be intrigued about.
It's like it's a cross between Quantum Leap, and it reminds me of Quantum Leap, like jump into body to body. It's
Nice.
I thought, yeah,
Yeah.
especially you had Gary and Scott McNeil. So yeah,
Yeah. Hey? Yeah,
Yeah.
such a coup. Yeah, we did great. Well, I'm glad that you liked it. Yeah, I think it's still something that's developing,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's out there.
I'm looking forward to seeing more. I
Okay.
really am. Because
Good.
it's just it is so good. The how I found it is just so convoluted. It's so funny. Because I was going through YouTube and I came across some videos of toy reviews because I'm a big Transformers fan.
Oh yeah.
Have been since '84. I came across a channel, TJ Omega. He does a lot of toy reviews, not just Transformers, but Kamen Rider and some other stuff. He goes to Metricon every
yeah.
year. He has on his channel a number of videos, interviews, panels from the convention. One of them, this is from 2014, was with Scott.
Oh yeah.
He brought up Mr. Somebody, and Scott was talking about the pistol that he had in that one scene that he was in Mr. Somebody with you and that whole thing. And he was talking about from Stargate Atlantis. And I'm like, okay, I got to see this. Because there was like several different weapons that I remembered. I'm like, okay, which one was it?
Yeah.
And so I went looking for it.
It's got
found
a
it.
different incarnations. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I found it and I watched that clip and I'm like, that's the Time Cop gun. That's the same gun that Jean-Claude Van Damme was carrying in that movie. I love that movie. I have that movie.
Yeah. And
So,
6 Degrees of Separation is Rick Faraci was one of the characters in Time Cop. He was one of the big guys who comes in with. He had the big ponytail and beard.
oh
and
yeah,
in the house, and everything. That was Rick Faraci. And
Mm.
Rick was the director, writer, and starring role in Blood Brothers.
Oh wow,
Yeah, so it's a little full circle kind of fun thing. Yeah.
that is cool.
Well,
That
Scott
is cool.
McNeil is such a treasure and a great talent, and that's cool that you guys bounced. You know what I mean? That you got together and then you saw the show, and that's great.
Yeah, and it was the interview that TJ did with him that they were talking about that, and so I went hunting for Mr. Somebody, found it, was reading, the story and about the characters, and there was 4 clips on there, and I'm like, oh, I gotta talk to these guys. So I sent a message, and Trevor responded.
Yeah.
And I ended up interviewing you and Trevor together right before part 1 hit the internet.
Yeah, that's right. Before we released, yeah.
Yeah. And that interview was so much fun.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. Trevor's sort of a quiet fella. Yeah.
Yeah.
Much like Alex here.
Not as quiet.
He says.
Not as quiet as Alex, because he did talk quite a bit.
Yeah. He had some knowledge, thank goodness, about what the next phases of this project are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the creative end. He helped create it with my friend Jason Kelly, and they've got a couple different scripts that they want to do, but I'm not privy as to which ones we're actually going to do. And now it's a matter of, from what I understand, it's a matter of raising funds for the next 2 episodes. And I'm certain that we're not actually looking at a lot of money, because it's not like I charge an arm and a leg to do my own project. You know,
Right.
I might be waiving my fee.
Yeah.
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 So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of that because that was, just part one, and I'm going, no, don't stop it there. Keep going. I want to see more. It's like, you can't leave me hanging. Come on, guys.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, no, there's definitely lots to it, and
Mhm.
he's got a couple really good scripts, and I'm excited to be doing something with it. But it's a matter of what can we do? His schedule,
Right.
my schedule, and if they've raised any money.
Yeah, and the other guys too, like Gary and Scott and some of the other people that are involved, and
Yeah, because I mean, all of those guys got committed and were willing to be a part of this project based on their relationships with me, and I was so grateful for that, and continue to be. So, depending on what we're doing, I will once again call on their friendship and help, and yeah, hopefully we can pay them.
right.
Yeah.
And then you did a short that I did watch it
Oh,
called The Arrangement.
oh yeah, you watched the arrangement. It
watched-
wasn't all
I
that
watched
short, was it?
Not that short, no, but I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, I'm going, okay, when's the other shoe gonna drop? And then it's like, it makes you wonder about her.
Yes.
And like, okay, what is she really doing? And who is she? Because it's like, just, yeah.
Good. Because that's kind of where we were going, right? Like she was going to be the one who going to continue on, and that would there would be more to the story. It was based on her, and
And it's
good.
obvious that she survived the ordeal
Yeah,
because of the way it was presented. And it's like, okay, now what?
yeah, exactly. Did you like the last gasp era
Mhm.
here? I thought it was fun. It was, yeah, I don't know. They're short films that I'm kind of going, okay, I'm happy to be a part of, and the thing about short films is that they unless they go into the festivals, unless they're accepted and are promoted to go into the festivals, then they kind of don't really go very far. And I'm so glad that you've taken the time to research and find it. Where did you find the arrangement?
It was on Vimeo
Nice. Oh, good.
through I think it was through Mindtool Films, which is Trevor's.
Yes, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay! Well, that's cool. Yeah, you rock. I appreciate you doing that because then what that does is that helps to promote to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Each thing builds on everything builds on the next thing that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm trying to help Trevor and my other buddy to put together a zombie project that they actually put it together without me. You know what I mean? Another little short, but we're looking with that same endeavor. We're looking at doing a feature.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yes, yeah, and that would be through my friend Milan and I think Trevor's involved as well. But it should be really fun, and that's what we're looking at doing is maybe get a little, a zombie film, and yeah, just brutal and yeah, like remember with 28 Days and those zombies came out and how they were and all that. Yeah, but say too much because I could get in trouble.
Yeah. And then there's this Over the Top, and it looks like David Kay was in it with you.
Yeah, how do you know David?
I know David Kay because he voiced Megatron in Beast Wars and Beast Machines and the Unicron trilogy. That's how I knew about him.
Is that the same David Kay?
I think. Is it?
This is a young.
Oh no, this is a different David Kay. Okay. Yeah.
What's
okay.
That? What?
Yeah, there's like multiple people with the same name. It's like, wait, is that the same one? No.
Yeah.
Because I just looked at the picture. I was like, oh, nope, that's not him. Never mind.
But I do know the other David Kay. In fact, many, many years ago, I'm thinking like all in the lines of maybe 17 years ago, when I was still coming up, I owned my own business. It was a window washing, chimney sweeping, gutter cleaning, power washing, home maintenance business.
Right.
And I would go from door to door and charm the people to wash their windows for them and clean out their gutters for them at a very reasonable price. And and it was called Dean's Dynamite Do It All.
Oh.
I was, as I have always been since, I've confessed to you since the age of 3, been pursuing, this acting thing. So I was still pursuing the acting thing at the same time. And an agent of mine had suggested that I go and meet up with this voice actor up in West Vancouver, whose home was just beautiful. And so I said, okay, no problem. And I went up there, and it was to clean out his gutters and wash his windows and maintain his home. And it was David Kay.
Ah.
Yeah, very, very nice guy. Yeah, and that's how I met David Kay. Very humbly, much like I met the guys who were the creators of Neon Rider. It's just going about our lives. We encounter these people because we're supposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get the parts that I get because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I'm anxious. I want parts, and they're not mine. And that's the actor's endeavor. It's okay.
Yeah. And we do what we do, and we end up, like you're saying, meeting people as we're supposed to meet them. That's like how I, sort of a roundabout way, met you.
Yes, exactly, Katt. Yes, exactly. Because we're meant to, you know what I mean? And because maybe somewhere out there, the podcast that we're doing right now is going to get to somebody who's going to help invest in Mr. Somebody, or it's got a great script for me to act in, or or it's got something for you guys to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, either way.
Yeah. So, and that's really what this is about. And I think that the little thing that I keep touching back on is the little thing of inspiring people.
Yeah.
I just hope that helps. That this little interview and this little has inspired some people to, I don't know, maybe look into their family heritage, their lineages, or look into sci-fi movies and television, and or look into acting and and what's necessary in that. Because all of that is full of creativity and inspiration, culture and spirit, and good things. You know what I mean? And there's bad things in there too. But that's the human condition.
Yeah, it's the good cannot be appreciated without the bad.
Yeah, kind of.
So the bad part kind of has to be there, and to me, it's just an obstacle to overcome to get to the good parts.
And like I said, those ones put in front of us are really just a measure of what we can overcome, because we can, damn it.
Been great talking to you. Alex, you want to take us out?
Yeah, okay, to say, well, we wish you good night to our listeners, and hopefully listens to our next episode soon.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for listening, listeners.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.